Hi everyone, hope you are well. Welcome to this talk today where I'm going to talk to you about risk management. In my earlier videos, I mentioned several topics related to change management, for example, stakeholder engagement, communication, training, resistance management, transition to BAU. Today I'm going to talk to you about a topic which is actually relevant in all these other steps or pillars of change management, and that topic is risk management. By the way, if you are watching my video for the first time, my name is Alok. I am a change manager based in Sydney, Australia. I make videos on change management, training and communication. I also write mini articles on these topics. I publish them on LinkedIn and on Medium. Welcome to my network, and hopefully together we can learn a few things from each other. Now back to the topic. I will cover three things, or there will be three main features of my talk today, very briefly. One is what is risk management, secondly why is it important, and thirdly some actions, especially what we can do to make sure we are following a proper risk management process. Let's start with risk management. Now risk management is a framework that or a mechanism that helps us manage the risks to a project. What is a risk? That is the question. Like if you want to understand what risk management is, we will be required to understand what risk is. There are many textbook definitions of risk. However, I find one definition which one of my mentors gave me many years ago the most relevant. He told me that anything that is uncertain to the project is a risk. He actually gave a funny example that, for example, tomorrow you might win a lotto and become a multimillionaire, and therefore you might decide to quit work. That is also a risk. So it was just a nice way of explaining what risk is. But in general, yes, anything that is uncertain to the project is a risk. And risk management gives us a mechanism to manage those risks properly. Now, second question, why do we need risk management? There are multiple reasons. Number one, we want to give confidence to our stakeholders that if there are uncertainties, we know how to navigate through those uncertainties. Secondly, we want to minimize disruptions. The more disruptions there are, the less the chances of success are. And the reverse is true. The less the number of disruptions, and the more the chances of success. And the best way to minimize disruptions are having a proper risk management framework. And thirdly, we want to ensure the best use of our resources, and risk management tremendously helps us in that aspect. Thirdly, what actions can we take to make sure as change managers that we are doing the right thing for risk management? Now, first of all, you have to understand one thing, that as risk manager, yes, we have a responsibility, but it is not our solo responsibility. So risk is basically owned by everyone. So this is where you need to coach the stakeholders, for example, your program sponsor, your project manager, your business analyst, that a coordinated approach is required for risk management. Now, second step for managing risk is check in the organization you are working whether they have any risk management framework, if they have any tools and templates. If they have, that is fine, utilize those and make sure that how they can be applied in the context of your project. Now, the existence of a risk management framework or the lack of it thereof depends on the change maturity of an organization or a risk maturity of an organization. If the organization you were working doesn't have a risk framework, that is fine, you can still build one. To build that one, first of all, you have to educate your sponsors. Second thing, you have to consult them on an ongoing basis. And you have to record those discussions. Here what you can do it in a very simple way. There are many tools available. Some people like to do it in Confluence, some people do it in Teams, then some people might want to use Trello, but I find Excel as a very easy way. First of all, it's easy to use, and you can actually manipulate by adding extra columns. You can add filters. You can manipulate to your advantage when you have to do reporting. So start noting down the risks. When you identify the risks, use three lenses. Number one, people risk. Number two, process. Then systems or technology risk. In the people risk, it could be, for example, Is there any key dependency? For example, is there too much knowledge coming from one particular person? For example, a system developer, is he developing all the processes? In that case, the risk is, what if that person leaves the organization? To manage this, the best mitigation would be document, like do proper documentation. So basically identify the risk, then keep a description of what that risk is and what is the mitigation, and also the level of risk, like is it high, is it medium, or is it low? And there should be a risk owner, like who owns that risk. So this is one example of people risk. There could be another example, for example, people leave or people sickness. Identify, go into the details and put the details on the spreadsheet and note down how you are going to mitigate this. From a process aspect of view, you can ask certain questions. For example, the project, is it going to change all the processes? Will it have any adverse effect? So how can you manage it? Is it like an additional training material, or is it by doing some standard operating processes, some documentation, or some additional discussion? Put it there. System risk is, what if the new system you are building stops operating? What if there is an attack on the system? How do you build that resilience? Write those questions on the Excel spreadsheet, and obviously that simple format. What is the risk? Add some details. What action or what sort of mitigation you have put in place and who owns it. When you note down this, you can actually have a very good number of risks. And don't fall into one trap, like don't put a separate change risk and one project risk and one system risk. Put all the risks in one log. That way it is easy to monitor the risks and manage them. If you have everything in one document, you get a holistic view and it's easy to manage. So these are some of the actions that you can take to mitigate the risk and continuously monitor the risk. Risk is not a one-off item, it's an ongoing activity. Another activity you can do it, not many organizations do it, but you can actually do it, and that will make you stand out as a professional. That is called a delivered risk. So there may be, I need to actually explain it a bit properly. So when you have a project, it has a life cycle. You initiate, you implement it, you transition it, but certain risks you might have to manage it on an ongoing basis. And once the project is rolled off, it is the business who takes over that project, who owns the project at go live. They will be the owners of these risks. These are called delivered risk. So do a delivered risk assessment and have a discussion with the business owners at the time of handing over the project, at the time of rolling off the project. That way, it will be a tremendous benefit to the business, and it will also reflect on you as a professional. That's all for today. I hope you have enjoyed my talk on risk management. If you have any feedback, please leave a comment here, and hope to see you in my next video. And thank you for watching. Thank you.